When I slim off the top of the arch there, I might eventually. Not really sure about that yet. What I do know is I'm going to start now down on here. And what I want to do is just add a few more colours into some of this desert soil, just to give it a little bit of variety when everything else starts peeking through. It will also need to have a few shadowed areas in it as well. So I'm going to pop a few shadows in, which will get sort of varied a bit once the vegetation goes in. But I'm just trying to put in a few shadows. The vegetation's going to come all the way down here, so I'm putting in some purples underneath all that sage as well. And then the sage is going to go over it. Over here it's quite dark, so I'm just putting in some dark areas of pastel, side of pastel, and it's quite some dark vegetation here, just to give it a nice base. I want to keep that a little bit further this way because I want to offset a little bit from there. Ooh. Don't put pastel on your handkerchief if you have a cold, which I do, because you don't want to be sucking it up into your airways, do you? I'm tempted to put in just a touch of that pink colour there. I can see sort of some pinky colours coming in a couple of spots there, so just put in a few, and maybe a little bit over here too. I need to start putting in the sage now. I'm going to start with the darker green, which is not really the green I want. So just put a little bit of that in, so I can modify it. This is a good colour. I like this one. It's a grey, sagey sort of colour. And that's just, I'm just pulling it down to make some sagey shapes. And it will be darker down here, so I will have to add in a little bit of moment. It's just putting in some shapes. And I'm varying them a bit from what I'm seeing in here just to get a better pattern. So don't really have to stick with what you see in nature. Change it if you want to. Just using the side of the stick. I'm actually going to break this stick. Don't be afraid to break those sticks. I do want the base to be deeper and darker, so I'm using a wrong colour green, but I'm going to mix it up with some other purples and so on to make the base a little bit of these a little bit darker. Not really the green I want, but I will make it the green I want. Because the bases of them do have a fairly purple tint to them. Back here they're quite dark, so I'm just going to put in some, because they're a different shrub back here, they're not the sage. I'm not sure what they are, so they're quite deep and dark, and so I want that contrast between the pale blue sage and this other sort of vegetation back here, which is more rounded too. So I'm putting that in, and I'll be adding quite a bit of colour into those as well. It kind of leads you in a bit there as they come up the dunes there, sitting across the top of them, and become sort of shallower as they go down. So this side is going to have more, to make it a little bit more asymmetrical. I'm getting the shapes there. I want to beef up the bases of those with some purple going back into it. Along all the bases. And I'm not going to just stick to the purple, I'm going to add some more colours in it as I go. I'm adding in a bit of a reddy brown, just a tiny touch of it along the base. It kind of helps accentuate the shadows of the on the sand too, a little bit on the desert soil. It's a little bit darker underneath them. And the reds work well with the reddy brown works well with the green foliage. Where that pink's coming, we go back there. And then even an even brighter blue. A bluer blue is going in. The sage has that blue-green look, so I'm putting some of the darker blues in as well. And just working them around the base. In a very jabby manner. Perhaps build up a little bit more coming down this way. So it's got a little bit of a layered look about it. So now I'm going to need to go back in with the other deeper colours I had there. Some of that reddy brown in as well, and on the bases there. And then I start working it in again with some of the sage colours, working over these other colours. Making some longer strokes, pulling it into these shadowy bits of it. Past the tops there. And then some sort of a bluer colour as well. So I'm trying to put some different lights in here now to quite the sage colour, but the bluer colour against the yellows works really well, so that's why I'm using this one on top of the more sagey green. And it's just pulling it down random strokes on top of the other colours, so that I'm building up layers of colour and giving it some depth with that underpainting of the darker colours that I did. I can add in more texture into the foreground here. I want to put some more depth back into those little shrubs back there. I'm standing back again now. I want to keep this fairly sketchy. I'll make these a little bit more dark and sort those out. Back there, give them a little... Again, you don't want this to be just one colour, so I'm adding in some very dark greens now on top of the lighter greens that I had there. Trying to keep them in a round way by using the shorter part of my... I'm moving over here so I can get into them better. By using the short edge of my pastel rather than the longer one. Breaking them up really helps because now I've got a medium length edge, a very short edge, and then I've got another piece with some other different sizes. So the more size edges you have with these square pastels, the easier it is to get the shape that you want. Pulling these, I want these to be a nice spoil for the lighter coloured bushes in front of them. And they come creeping down towards those lighter bushes. All this over here. I'm trying to get the red out of that area. So I've made a darker colour in between there of foliage, and I'm liking that. I'm going to go back in with this lighter blue and just pull some down so it's overlapping some of those darker colours I just put in. Just pull some of it up into the darker colours. Stand out a bit better. And again, just using the short edge of this. And then back in again with the sagier green. Doggy dashy ones now. Now what I need to do is add in some little sticky bits there, some of those desert bits of sticks that have that's not very good. don't like it, take it out again. That's what I'm doing there. Didn't like the way that has gone at all. And actually this, popping some of this in again with a few different colours, just going to vary it up a bit. This is quite a dark red one, but I want that to be in a sort of shadow area over here. Where there's a little maybe a little bit redder underneath with a over here, a little bit redder underneath there, where it's a little bit shadowed. So trying to keep the foreground interesting too. Into those shadows that I've made red, I'm going to pop in a bit of purple as well. Pulling a little bit of that up into that. Shrubs a bit as well. Drawing in a few of the branches there with a bit of purple, and I'm going to darken that up a bit too. I think I've ruined it by doing that. So, again, I'm just going to move that around a bit with some other pastel and restore it to where I wanted it. Perhaps it's a wee bit red, so I'm going to go into it with this more sienna colour now, just to knock that back slightly. But I do want a few touches of this lighter colour in there, so just a few bits where it's catching. So it's not boring. And I'm trying to make a pathway into the arch, so I'm coming up through here, round the back and up through to the arch there. I do want to put in some of the branches, so I'm just taking a pencil here and sticking a few of them in. A few of them there. And I do want to have a few little marks in the sand which could be roots coming out from the plants, or just little bits of where the sand's cracking a little bit in the baking sun. So a few of those, just to add some, don't go overboard. And there I'm speaking to me, not you. Perhaps I will have a little suggestion of a couple of sticks there. Old roots sort of lying in the sun, which will need and I'm using those really to point us in that way as well. They need a little bit more shadowing underneath them, and they're going to get it with that very dark, deep one. I might even top a couple of little spots of that in here. Not too much, I'm going to be fairly restrained with it. I do want a little smidge of it in the base of some of these. Over here, especially, could do it a little bit. It's trying to get the balance right, as ever in pastels. Don't go too overboard. But I do want some contrast. That might even go in the background here, a little bit of that underneath some of these shrubby bits here. Not too much, just a touch here and there. I could want a few more warmer colours in that, possibly, and I'm not quite sure what I'm going to put in there. I might actually try this just a few more lights in there. Not many. I may even pull some of these little bits of pink into it, just for a touch of variety in there, or maybe some soft purples as well. I'm pretty happy with that. I think there's a lot of contrast, there's a lot of colour in it. I hope you enjoyed this desert painting. I really did. And what I was trying to show you this time is that you just can push and pull the shapes and the values. Just keep looking, observing your reference, checking the shapes against each other, and as you do that, you'll get the right shape. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.